right, and welcome to another episode of the Political Playbook. I'm Wyatt, and this is my co-host Darren. And today we've got a jam-packed 2-minute drill for you guys. The first topic we're going to be talking about today is this Israel museum shooting story. So, Darren, what do you got on this, man?
Well, it looks like a Palestinian activist, Elias Rodriguez, decided that it would be good for him to go and kill two people outside the Jewish museum up in D.C. It's really bizarre when you read or when you listen to like the breakdown of events. And this might be worth discussing too, like the psychology of these killers once they start.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a handgun, and he just like empties the magazine into this young couple. I believe their names were it was something like Yaron,
Yaron and
Lischinsky.
Sarah. Yep,
Yeah,
Yaron and Sarah.
and but anyways, I think he shot a total of like 20 something bullets. I mean, that's a ton of firepower, and it's surprising that he decided to only kill two people with it, because there was a huge event going on inside the building that he was just outside of. But he kills these two people, and then I guess he's decided he's got his fill, and he walks into the building, tells the people inside, "Hey, go call the police." And they assume, he was like a bystander when the shooting was happened because he's acting all nonchalant. He sits down and somebody even brings him like some water. And then he reveals not long after, when the police are, arriving, that he in fact did it, and he starts chanting free, free Palestine. So I mean, it is really just bizarre. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm glad he didn't, but you would think with the amount of ammunition he had with him, yeah, and the fact that there was an event, that he would do more, perhaps, or, why did he just kill two people outside the event and then just, give up, basically?
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
miracle he didn't kill more people, is what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, because from the stories I've heard, people handed him water. They had no idea that he was in fact the killer. So, he totally could have. He had the element of surprise. He could have killed a ton of people, but I guess it kind of goes with our theme of, more like political, this trend of political violence. Maybe it's not too, outside the mean, the average per year, but it feels like there's been a lot of it lately. But what are your kind of like first thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's an unfortunate truth that going forward, I think that the chances of political violence are going to go up. I mean, there's just no other way around it. And unfortunately, this poor young couple, they just got engaged or they just got married, something like that.
Yeah, they
And,
were
and they,
about to be engaged in Israel, I believe. They were in fact that weekend, that was the plan.
Gosh, and you know what's unfortunate is these two had absolutely nothing to do with the genocide that's going on over there. So this guy did a, harmful act of violence and, you know, ultimately solves nothing. And the idea that these people, these cowards, are doing anything to further any sort of cause in, coalition with Palestine, they're just morons. I mean, this is unbelievable thinking to think that this little act of stupidity and cowardice is going to do anything but hold your agenda back. And not just your agenda back, hold back. I mean, because they're already demonizing Palestinian people, right, who have done nothing wrong. And then they go, well, your side is just as crazy. And then bam, shit like this happens and
Oh yeah.
it does nothing but hurt the cause. And I've been saying for a while that political violence is only going to increase, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way I see it. And I think that these cowards should be stopped. I don't know how else to put it. Um,
Yeah, and it really came at a really, terrible time for it. If you're Elias Rodriguez and you claim to be a champion for the Palestinian cause, well, there are talks with Iran that are ongoing right now, and and basically the Palestine issue kind of, at the crux of all of it, essentially. So why would you do something that could basically end up, derailing talks? It's just, mind-boggling, and it's led some more conspiratorial minded people to be like, oh, it was a false flag. He was prompted to do this by the Mossad or something so that, talks with Iran would get derailed. And I don't know. I think that I'm not, uh, I think Occam's
I don't buy that
razor.
for a second here, man. That's just ridiculous. Leave that stuff for Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I tend to agree. The Occam's razor, it's just some lunatic. And, uh, I mean, like it or not, people like this are out there and they exist. And you know, he's certainly I mean, he's a leftist through and through. So, I guess basically the not that leftists are insanely violent or anything, but I mean, the motivation is very clear. So,
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. Like this is clearly I mean, we were looking up the background of this guy before the podcast started, and this dude is apparently a pretty hardcore socialist where he's from. And
oh
like
yeah, yeah,
there's no denying that his political ideology is what fueled this. I mean, he was caught in the official police report. I mean, he basically confesses. He says, "I did it for Palestine. I did it for Gaza." That's his words. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that it's any less of a genocide, right? But it does mean that like there is like a willingness to be okay with political violence, at least on this issue, you know?
oh yeah, yeah, and I mean, not obviously, no, it's not justified in any case, but when something so extreme is going on, it almost seems almost inevitable that some kind of like, backlight, just some lunatic, that there'd be some backlash where a lunatic would take matters into their own hands. And in this case, the destruction was external rather than internal, like with the case of Aaron Bushnell. Like, oh, was that early 2024 or like late 2023 when that happened?
I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, well, that Aaron Bushnell guy, for our viewers, he was the guy who set himself on fire and killed himself in
The
front
Air
of the.
Force guy? Yeah, you're okay. You're right. I know who you're talking about, right?
Oh yeah, 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 and yeah, he was in the military, and he, chanted "Free Palestine" while on fire. Now, especially since we're on YouTube, I'm not gonna say I support that either, and I. But at least with that, he was making a statement. It was kind of heroic in a way. I mean, I don't encourage anyone to go out there and kill themselves, but it's not like he killed someone else. He was a willing participant in it. So there's, some honor, some bravery, and there's quite a bit of bravery in that. So, whether you disagree or not with the intention, but yeah.
Right, yeah, and I would never advise that anyone go do anything like that, but it's sort of like, the monks during the Vietnam War. They lit themselves on fire too. And it's as about as peaceful as protest as you can do while still like basically putting it as crystal clear as possible that you do not support what is currently happening. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? Like and none of it that's infinitely better. than taking the lives, like I said, of two innocent people who had nothing to do with what's going on over there. They don't have a damn thing to do with it.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, this was horrible optics for the pro-Palestine movement, and honestly, I was really fearing that there would be some kind of like crackdown, in the aftermath. Like, and we have yet to see. Maybe there will be. I don't know. It's totally still possible. Nothing has happened quite yet, but maybe there'll be some crackdown of like left wing protests going forward, or maybe Trump will try and institute Project Esther like fully or something crazy like that. It's plausible. So, this guy was really playing with fire with his, with his own movement being at stake by doing this, and just bad optics and bad in general all around.
Yeah, well, the part that gets it for me is that like there's nothing. So like even let's pretend like let's throw all like the psychopath stuff aside, right? You decide you're gonna do this to better your cause, okay? But the people you're gonna choose, like they have no power whatsoever to change the. This is pure like vengeance. You know what I mean? Like revenge. This has nothing to do with justice. This has nothing to do with some like heightened ability to further your cause. I just cannot get over the lack of like thinking that went into this and the cowardice behind it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because he shot them in the back. Is the other thing based on the
Right.
report. So it's not like he could even look at them in the face and do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the dude is definitely gonna, see his day in court. I mean, they pretty much know for sure it's already this guy. They wouldn't even let him enter a plea deal because they're still adding charges. So
Yeah.
the dude is definitely facing murder charges, murder of foreign officials. There's going to be a million federal charges. This dude will spend the rest of his life in a 4x6 cell trying to hope, that, maybe he'll get out on good behavior by the time he's 95.
Oh yeah. Just absolute. Threw his life away for nothing. So, but I don't feel sorry for him. He's obviously some psycho. It'd probably be best that we just killed him. The
Easy.
state. Well, the state kills him, executes him, the death penalty. Not us, not the citizens.
Well, I will say I
Because
am
that's bad for YouTube. But when the
right.
government does it, that's
Right.
okay for
Suddenly it's
YouTube.
fine. Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like in principle, I'm against the death penalty, but this is one of those scenarios where it's like, the dude deserves it, but like, I just, I'm not gonna give the
Yeah.
government that kind of power. But if that's what they seek, then that's what they seek, because this is absolutely domestic terrorism. Like, there's no really getting around that, right?
Oh yeah, I think it certainly meets the specifications of it without a doubt. But yeah, bad all around. Next topic, though, if we're kind of done on this one,